we had a clog. It was one of those annoying kind of clogs. It was in the shower. And you go in, you take your shower. And like kind of towards the end of your shower, the shower would start to fill up, which I can't stand that, right? Like I take a shower, I get clean, and then my feet get dirty with water. It's just gross, I can't stand it. But, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, do you want to call the plumber? I don't want to call the plumber. Nobody wants to call the plumber, right? So fine. We just let it go for a while, and whatever. Then it kind of got a little worse, a little worse. Then there started to be a little drip in the pipe downstairs. I thought, all right, fine, we got to call the plumber. So, call the plumber. And, we get this guy who comes out, and he looks at it, he's like, well, you got to have this pipe redone, you got to have this pipe redone. I'm going on vacation, though, I can't do it. So call me in a week when I come back from vacation. Well, he goes away on vacation. We didn't call him back. And then, we had to go on a trip ourselves. And, all of this is to say that this was going on for like a month. And finally, we're like, you know what? We just need to get the plumber. Just get the plumber out. So we call the plumber. And the guy comes out and he looks at it. And he's like, he does that thing, I kind of, okay. He looks at it. He looks at the pipes. He's like, well, yeah, you got a leak here. There's probably a clog. So, let me put my camera down there and we'll see what it is. And I'm like, how much is a camera going to cost? He's like, well, it's normally $350. I don't think I need the camera. Just put a snake down there and we'll be fine. He's like, well, I'm going to have to redo this piece of pipe anyway because it's leaking. I'm like, yeah, I knew that. And he's like, and I got to do that piece because that's leaking. I'm like, yeah, I know that. He's like, so the whole thing is going to be, $800. And he says, so you know what, I'll just throw the camera thing in. We'll just do the camera thing, we'll make sure. I'm thinking, I like this guy. This is good. So he's doing his thing, and he's got the camera thing, and then I'm working. I don't even remember what I was doing. And he comes, he says, I need to talk to you. Not words you want to hear from your plumber. And then he says, you've got a big problem. Which, after a doctor, like the next person that you don't want to hear that from is the plumber, right? They're like the number two. Number one is doctor, and everyone wants to hear that, and then they never want to hear from the plumber. All right, great. So he's got his little camera thing, which is actually kind of cool. He's got this big, long camera on a tube that he can jam into your pipes, right? He's like, I want you to come look at this. And he shows me this picture of my pipe, which goes like this, except in one place it goes like this. That's not good. So I said, how much is that going to be? He's like, I don't know. Let me find it. So he says, well, it's outside. Okay, is that better or is that worse? It's like, well, I had a feeling it was outside because we would have seen it was inside. All right, fine. So what's that going to cost me? I was like, I don't know. Let me go talk to my people. So he goes, it's like the car dealer. They got to go talk to the people. And he gives me a number. And it was not a good number. I'll tell you that much. It was not a pleasant number. You don't really need to know how much my plumbing bill costs, I don't think. Probably it's not going to change your life. But the point of all this is they had to dig a hole out front to dig up this pipe that had separated. So there's this 2-foot hole in my yard, in my house that I've lived in since like the end of June. Okay? There's this huge hole, and he shows me this pipe that had been connected to this other pipe by this rubber piece. And I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to use rubber in piping. He's like, oh, no, you're really not. And where the pipe had sunk, right, and that was causing stuff to get caught and causing the blockage. And I'm like, well, why did it sink? He said, well, the dirt moved. And I said, now, if you own a house, or you've ever owned a house, you're thinking probably exactly what I'm thinking there. Well, where did it go and what's going next? If there's dirt moving away from my house, what about the foundation? Right? What if something's happening to the foundation? If the foundation of the house has a crack in it, if the foundation of the house is moving, if the foundation of the house is shifted, if the foundation of the house has something wrong with it, the whole thing has big, big problems. And I thought, oh no, What about my foundation? Now, it turned out the foundation of my house was fine. Still don't know where the dirt went. Not so sure about that. But the foundation is fine, which is good. Because, like I said, if the foundation is bad, the whole thing is in trouble. What we are celebrating today is our foundation. Right? Our foundation that goes back not just 35 years, this is our 35th anniversary today that we're celebrating, but it goes back way back. It goes back, really it goes back as far as Jesus, but the part of it that we're celebrating today is the Luther part. And this is the foundation on which the Reformation and all of Luther's teachings and being Lutheran was built on. Martin Luther said of this Romans passage, Romans 3, this last verse here, I'll read it again for you. We hold that a person is justified by faith apart from works prescribed by the law. Martin Luther said that this was, and I quote, the chief point, the very central place of the epistle and of the whole Bible. For Martin Luther, this was the Bible. If you sum it up in one sentence, it was, we hold that a person is justified by faith apart from works prescribed by the law. That it is not what we do, in other words, that makes God love us, forgive us, accept us, welcome us, but it is simply the fact that we have faith. And he even said later that even faith is a gift from God. That we can't even believe on our own. So all of it, everything that we have from God, is a gift of God's grace and love and just wanting to give it to us. That is the foundation that I see here. I see that foundation alive and well in you and how you treat one another and how we treat other people and how we treat people who come to our church for the first time and how we treat people who are out there. The homeless meals. Raise your hand if Steve, you gave away both of yours.
Yeah.
Right? What happened? Tell us the story.
So you had said in your sermon that when you have these meals in your car, you will see things that you haven't seen before. I thought, yeah, okay, I'm going to really keep my eyes open now, to see what I see. So I had a business appointment in Milledgeville at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I drove to Milledgeville. As always, I get there a half hour early. So I'm in the Walmart parking lot at 9:30 a.m. in Milledgeville. And, I'm working my phone and I'm kind of looking around to see what I see. And I see this gentleman with a haggard looking with a backpack on his back. And I'm like, man, there's my first guy, So as I go to pull out, it's a parking lot that's way set up high with a road going down to the main road, and he's already on the road by the time, because I got stuck. There was a car here, a car there, and I'm like, God, I'm gonna get at this guy, So by the time I got to him, he was down in the main street. So I pulled down this big hill, got into the main street, pulled up, and I rolled down my window and I said, hey, I don't mean to scare you, but you got a second? Could you meet me up at the corner? Because I saw there was some space to park, and he said, sure. So I went up to the corner, I got out of the car, I said, I just want to introduce myself, I'm Steve Olson, how are you today? I said, I've got a lunch in the car, I wonder if you're hungry. And he said, yeah, I am. He said, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. He said, God bless you. And so I just said, so where are you at? And he goes, I'm just trying to get things back together. He said, I'm working on it. He said, I got family that's going to help me. I'm spending a little bit of time here, but I hope to get back to Arkansas soon. And, then I said, you want to pray with me? Held hands, said a prayer. Thanks for my, please grant me the strength. And we did a prayer about strength and stuff like that. Gave the dude a hug and went on, and he was very appreciative. And then I got done with that meeting, and then I had to run to Warner Robins, and I was going through this side street in Macon, and there was a young woman at the side of the road, and she was holding the sign. I got a 1-year-old daughter, and she was haggard looking, and I got out and talked to her, and it's kind of the same experience. So it was just really moving, man. That you had said you would see things that you hadn't seen before, and I saw things, and just the way that people reacted, they were so appreciative, and it was more than just giving them a nice bag of snacks. It's like we talked about hope and strength and kind of thing. So it is powerful. It really moved me, and I hope it moved them as well.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. And I hope that y'all are looking for that. That's just an example, you know, and when I go to other churches for various things, I mean, we hang out, pastors, you know, and we go to lunch together, and we go hang out at one another's churches sometimes, and we have meetings. You know, I meet some people who used to be here, because you go to any of these, people just pass around from church to church around here. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. They share, you know, and they're like, oh yeah, Incarnation, good church, good people, good people. We have a foundation here, a foundation that is grounded in this, that is grounded in God's love, and it's good. We're going to celebrate that. We're going to have lunch. I don't know if you smelled it already, but I smelled it, and I should wrap up, actually, because I want to eat, because I'm hungry. It smells good. But before I do, you know, the thing about a foundation is that it only matters if there's something built on it. If all I had at my house was a foundation, I wouldn't have much of a house, right? And we have a great foundation here, but we do need to keep building on it. We need to keep building out what God is calling us to do. And the council has met and talked and discussed and tried to figure out what that might be. And so next year, we're going to have some events where we're going to try and do something here to get people out there to come here. We don't know what those are yet. Haven't got that far. We'll get there. The point is that next year, we got some work to do. We have a really good foundation, strong, built on good Lutheran theology, good Lutheran people. But next year, we're going to have to work. We're going to have to try. We're going to have to all pitch in. We're going to have to all get together and do these events, whatever they're going to be, and it's going to be work, and you're going to be tired, and it's going to involve effort and sacrifice. You're going to have to not do other things. I'm going to have to not do other things that I would do normally. But this is what God is calling us to do, to build on this foundation so that others can share this wonderful theology and live this out and realize that God's love is theirs for them, and it's a free gift that they just get. Just like those lunches that you gave, just like Martin Luther talked about. So, happy anniversary, everybody. Got a lot to celebrate and a lot of great history, most of which I wasn't here for. I mean, when this church was founded, I was like 7 years old and I was playing with action figures. So, you know, I haven't seen most of it, but I know, because you can tell the quality of the tree by the fruit it bears. And I see that fruit here. And I'm excited to getting to work next year and inviting more people to be part of it. Amen.
Amen.